welcome back to Don't Repeat What Mommy Says. We're not doing that. That's dumb. Um, I don't know. Give me a break. Uh,
I think you're calling me dumb.
I'm not calling you dumb. I'm saying it's dumb to repeat what Mommy says. Oh my God, speaking of repeating what Mommy says, Henry kept walking around this morning dropping F bombs. Effing Ava, effing couch, effing Henry, effing door. I'm like, oh no. I was like, did you say duck?
That works till it doesn't.
Right, it worked. He did eventually stop. I just decided I wasn't going to acknowledge it. So today we're talking bonding with your kids. I don't recommend bonding with your kids by swearing a lot in front of them because apparently they repeat it. So,
They do. That's why we don't repeat what mommy says.
yeah. So, bonding. So, I think we see a lot online about bonding with babies. Um, and there's a lot of people affectionately called the nipple Nazis
Oh
who
God,
are
it's
convinced
not
you
affectionate at all.
have to breastfeed to bond with your baby.
Yes, and I didn't nurse my baby, and I have no bonds with my daughters whatsoever.
Right.
So,
Or I hear the flip side, you have to introduce a bottle so other people can bond with your baby. There are ways to bond with a baby that do not involve feeding them. So,
absolutely.
how you feed your baby is irrelevant to how you bond with your baby. Let's just,
And other people can bond with a breastfed baby because Ava's breastfed.
yes.
And every time I see her and I say hello to her, she smiles. So clearly we have a bond.
Well, and like, she gets super excited when Andy comes home.
Right. And he not breastfeeding her.
He's not breastfeeding her. He's given her like two bottles total, and she barely takes them.
There's just my
But
bottles.
I would challenge you to say she's not bonded with her dad. Like she hears his voice on the phone, and her head snaps to it to see where he's at. So feeding is not the only way to bond with a baby. You've got rocking, like really little babies. I mean, once they're mobile, things change a little bit. But your newborns, your 0 to 6 monthers, your lumps, they're potatoes. They don't do a whole lot. Yes, you bond by feeding them, whether that's a bottle or a boob or
Whatever.
whatever. You can also bond
I don't know what the
by,
whatever is. Do you?
I don't
I
know,
have no idea.
a bottle, a boob.
You
French
tell us
fries,
if you're feeding them a different way. We don't. We want to know.
right? Well, and that same thing, the people who say, like, you won't bond with your baby if you don't breastfeed. Are you saying adoptive parents don't bond with their children
They
when they have
absolutely do.
babies?
They absolutely bond with their
And
babies.
we know somebody with an adopted daughter, and they seem fairly well bonded. Her daughter loves her. She loves to see her mom. She's excited when she picks her up. She never put her boob in that kid's mouth, to my knowledge. I don't know why she would have. Um,
I no. I don't.
no.
Yeah.
So
So that's baby bonding.
you can rock them, you can cuddle them, you talking to them.
Talking
Talking to
to
kids
them.
is so good for their brain development, like especially babies. Um, I know somebody said like narrate your day like you're a sportscaster, and it helps them pick up on more words and they develop their language skills a little faster, marginally faster. I'm not saying if you never speak to your kid, they're never going to learn how to talk. I mean, they might not, but you know,
Yeah. I mean, we used to do a nighttime routine where we said goodnight to like everything. Like good night, puppy. Good night. Blah blah.
well,
Whatever. We used to do that.
Henry's on this thing lately where he loves everything. He likes to tell me all the things he loves in a day. I love blueberries. I love Ava. I love cats. And then recently, he started telling me how he's feeling, which is interesting because, like, 2 years old, they're not usually that concise. But this morning he was trying to get soap to wash his hands. And he kept going, I'm so frustrated.
Oh.
And then he couldn't get down on his own. And he goes, I'm frustrated again.
Oh.
Yeah, it was cute. So as they get older, they're moving, they're doing things. Those can be ways you can bond with your kids too. So, like, he helped me crack eggs for breakfast this morning. That was bonding. We were cooking together. And I think cooking together is one of those things. If your kid likes doing it and if you enjoy doing it, that can be something that you can do with very little kids all the way up to your adult children.
Yeah, and I mean, we do cookies every year with all the kids.
Yeah,
My kids, their kids.
that's a big bonding experience.
Yeah, it's also a lot of bickering, but we
A
get
lot
the
of
cookies made and everybody feels very bonded by the end of it.
happy holiday.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, every time somebody starts getting real cranky, we just obnoxiously sing happy holidays.
Yeah. And
Um,
that was actually from when me and my brother were kids, because there was a movie where they sang that, like these two little kids were singing it, and they sing it really poorly. So every time somebody would get grumpy around the holidays, my brother and I, one of us, or even both of us, sometimes would just break out into that. So we carried that through.
well, and I think, especially with littler kids, and I think more so with first time parents, people get this idea that they need to have all of these experiences that need to be big and extravagant to bond and make their childhood amazing.
I don't think
And
that's the stuff kids remember.
it's not the stuff kids remember. So, bonding with your kids doesn't have to be going to theme parks and going to massive parties or jump craze or whatever's going on.
Although those things are fun and those are nice experiences to have, but it's the day to day stuff.
Those things are fun. They're nice experiences to have. You can do those things with your kids. I'm not saying you don't do them if you want to do them. But if you are in a position where you financially can't afford it, there are ways to bond with your kids for free.
Absolutely. Well, and so Lauren and her sister are 3.5 years apart. So Lauren was still at home when her sister was in school. And we used to bond because at that time I worked a second shift job and it was full time at the time. So I was very tired in the morning. So I would get her sister off to school and everything. And then she and I would lay in my bed and we would, watch TV and just talk. So we bonded doing that.
Well, and I think when you have very little kids and you have more than one of the things I think people tend to have a harder time with is making their older kid feel special, having those moments to bond with their older kids so they don't feel like they're being replaced by a new baby. And in the beginning, it was really hard with Henry because he wasn't even 2 yet when Ava was born. So I know it was really hard for him because in the beginning she was cluster feeding a lot and she's exclusively breastfed. So I was pretty much physically attached to her all the time. So we didn't get a whole lot of one on one time. But when I did have that one on one time with him, I tried to make sure I was present for it. So, not checking my phone. We're still playing games. We're still going to do bath time. And my husband stepped up a lot to kind of fill in some of those spots too, where he was doing a little bit more of the care for Henry because I couldn't. Um, so bonding is going to look different, when you have more kids, just based on the amount of time. But I think it's important to find even little bits of one-on-one time. Like now that Ava sleeps a little more normally and Henry's always slept pretty good, he usually wakes up about half an hour before her. So that like first half hour of the morning, we sit on the couch and we, hang out. He drinks his chocolate milk. I drink my coffee. He watches TV. Yes, we do screen time a lot. I don't care.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, you bond with somebody when you feel like you're special to that person. So that's the point. Just make your kids feel like they're special to you. Like they're not, each one is an individual. You love them each individually. They're special to you individually, as well as a family unit. So it doesn't unit. Okay, yeah,
It's the brain.
it's the brain. I'm sorry.
It's
But well, it's not smooshed anymore, but it's probably never going to be right. So it is what it is. And sometimes I say my words wrong. Sorry. But there's a lot of things you can do to bond. Like I said, it could be those little moments. It could be like I have girls, so it could be brushing their hair in the morning when they were going to school. And just talking to them, like, what are you going to be doing today at school? There's moments in the day where you can ask them about themselves. And you need to listen. You need to be checked in, like she said, be checked in so that child feels like you actually care what their answer is. Um, it's little moments like that cause bonding. Because I think growing up, I mean, I don't know, what are some of the things that you remember that like are good childhood memories?
I mean,
Like it wasn't the big stuff.
It wasn't the big stuff. Like I remember laying in bed with you and talking. I would have you read to me a lot.
Yeah, we did that a lot.
Um,
With Dad, you used to help Dad fix things.
used yeah, I used to help my dad fix things, or he and I went to the steam show, which was just
Yep.
something. It was a shared interest. We both liked doing it, so he would take me every year, and we'd spend 4 days basically walking around the show with like antique tractors, and he'd buy me a pork chop for lunch, which was a really fond memory with my dad bonding, you know. And I think bonding is going to look different from parent to parent. So there was a study that was done, and people keep misquoting it or only quoting parts of it, where they said children have higher levels of, I think it was dopamine, or was it oxytocin? One of the two, when they're playing with their dad. And what they left out was children have higher levels of it when they're cuddling with their mother. And essentially, what the study showed was different activities trigger those like bonding centers in the brain for men versus women, and children's reward centers of the brains closely matched the parents in the
So
activity.
remember, like Dad used to pick you guys up by your arms, and then he did it with like the little people,
Yeah.
like the grandkids and stuff. I don't know, maybe you could. I'm like, you're gonna rip their arm out of the socket.
Oh my god, yeah.
And my husband said this was recently. And this what I because he bonds by throwing those people around, and they seem to enjoy it. But
Yeah.
I am a firm believer that at some point, someday, he's going to rip somebody's arm out of their socket.
And nobody has ever in the history of ever done that, according to him.
Yeah, he goes, you know what, honey? Every mom everywhere has always said that. And in the history of ever, nobody's actually ripped the kid's arm out of the socket.
Okay, but it actually has happened.
She's
so
saying
he's
it
wrong.
happened. So now am I justified? I don't know. But anyway.
That's why nursemaid's elbow is a thing. There was a lady who, they were, you pick your little kid up by the arms and you swing them when you're walking.
Yeah.
And their kid's elbow dislocated when they did it. So they did. They pulled her arm right out of the socket.
So one time somebody's arm got pulled out of the socket.
Well, more often there's a name for it. But, I mean, it does sometimes happen with, like, abuse cases. So, things to look for. But you can get injured while playing with your kids. Your kids can get injured while playing with you.
We're talking about bonding. I didn't mean to make it dark.
I'm not making it dark.
You're making it dark.
I'm just saying, accidents can happen. But I think as moms, we tend to avoid some of the rougher play that kids enjoy.
Right,
and that's
because
where
we
dads
think
step in.
everybody's going to rip their arms out
Right,
of their
we think
socket.
worst case scenario. We're like, oh my
all
God,
the time.
we're going to have to go to the hospital. They're going to call DCFS. And all we were doing was playing WWE or whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to bond with your kids, and it changes as they get older too. So when you get to the teen years, your kids don't want to bond with you. Well, they think they don't want to bond with you. They do want to bond with you, but they're, how they get morose about everything, like, God, mom, whatever,
Mom, mother.
So it's a little harder to bond with them. It is a little harder to bond with them during those years. However, there are ways to do that. Most teenagers are not going to turn down free food. So taking them out to lunch or to dinner, things like that, they're generally going to go. They're still going to be morose or whatever, but you might get some information out of them. And I don't mean information like you're prying into their lives, but, you might get them to talk about, like, who that person is they like right now, or who they're friends with, or what's going on in their day, or what their interests are.
Well, and there's a lady, she gave some advice for, like, parents of teenagers. I believe her Facebook or YouTube, whatever, it's Dr. Beachgem. She's a pediatric doctor, whatever, but she has older kids. And she said the best thing she's learned with having older kids is to talk to them in the car. Because you're always driving somebody somewhere, at least until they have their own cars and their own licenses and some autonomy. She's like, it's great because they can't really get away, but they also don't have to look you in the eye. She's like, my kids sometimes will ignore me, but sometimes in the car, like, that's the safe place to talk about things. And she was saying that her kids tend to open up a lot more about hard situations. So that can be a really good time for bonding that you might not think about. Just, when you're carting your kids around.
And I think, and you probably already do this, But I think it's very important when you see your kids to acknowledge them always. And when you're leaving or they're leaving, always acknowledge that with an I love you. They might be like,
Whatever, mom. Don't embarrass me in front of my
yeah,
friends.
don't do that. But it doesn't matter. Do it anyway.
Yes, do it anyway.
I mean, I could be in her driveway before we get off the phone and I say I love you and she says I love you too.
right, in
Because
case
I might die between the driveway and the house. I mean, we don't know.
right, that whole 10 feet can be treacherous.
Can be your freaking chickens.
Yeah, you might get mauled by a chicken. Not really. They're
I've
pretty.
been pecked by a chicken
Oh
in
my!
the toe.
A peck in the toe. You're gonna die from a peck in the toe.
It could get infected.
And sometimes bickering is
Bickering is bonding in our house.
playful bickering.
Yeah, family games or even just a game with that child. Because remember, I was saying, like, I don't even know what to say about bonding with boys because I don't
Yeah.
have them.
Yeah.
And then she brought up some good ones, like if your son likes video games, if there's one that you guys could play together, that might be something.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the ways that Andy's really excited when Henry's old enough is like he wants to play Mario Kart and Minecraft and get him into all the games he likes to play. Because that can be a fun way to bond too. Like,
Well, my brother used to play was it World of Warcraft that he played with John? And they had like
yeah, a lot
computers that were like
back to
back to
back.
back and they'd sit there and game all night or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean,
Would not be my cup of tea.
video games aren't for everyone, but it can be a cool way to bond with some of your older kids, especially if there's something that they're interested in that you can do together. That they don't necessarily have to do with you, but it's a choice.
And like you said, cooking together. We used to go shopping and then sushi.
And
The grocery shopping and then we went to sushi.
I mean, we play board games, well, cards mostly, usually.
Cards.
We used to play Skippo, a lot of Skippo.
A lot of skip. We played backgammon.
Backgammon.
And that's a way I bonded with my own mother. My mom and I used to sit and play backgammon for hours sometimes.
Yeah, and I think if your older child is coming to you looking to bond, try to make time for them if you can.
Yeah, stop what you're doing. Unless it's, something that you can't stop. But because those are golden moments. They don't do it a lot.
Yeah, because I mean, about middle school age, would you say? Kids want to start to be more independent. And especially once they, have their own mode of transportation, they're going to be fairly independent. And they're not going to want to spend that time with their parents as much.
No, they
they've
don't.
got.
Even when their friends tell them that their mom is cool.
Oh, yeah. And then they'll get mad that their mom is cool. I mean, I never cared. I was like, yeah, my mom's a cool mom.
Yeah.
Paige cared a lot.
Yeah, she did not think I was cool.
She also didn't like when her friends liked me. So
She thought I was embarrassing.
yeah.
Particularly if I broke out into song in the middle of a store.
You are the dancer.
It was like, I will survive in the Dairy Queen drive.
Oh my gosh, with
She
Shane.
was pissed. Oh, that was holding out for a hero. These are things that we did a lot, and it was very bonding between me and her because she would start singing to her sister. She would be like, "Shut up! Oh my God, Mom, don't do it."
Yeah, and I think that's one of your rites of passage as a parent is being able to embarrass your child. Because I mean, you don't want to be malicious. Like your goal is not to be malicious, but it's kind of funny.
I gotta be free. I gotta be me. I gotta sing in the drive-thrus. Yeah,
we're gonna be in the car.
I mean, I wasn't like dropping it like it's hot or anything like that.
But I mean, music could be another thing if you and your kid like the same kind of music in any way, shape, or form. Even a song. Like if there's a song your kids like that you can tolerate,
or if you can't find anything to bond over, because Paige and I, when she got to a certain age, I mean, of course we bonded, but she got to a certain age and I just wasn't cool, and she didn't want to bond or any of those kind of things. But we did find some series that we both liked, and so we did binge watch stuff together. And while yes, most of that we were just sitting there talking about the show, but we were talking, and that was our time together when we were watching those shows, and then Lauren and I also binge watched, like, oh my god, everything,
And
that we made
irritating dad. We would so like this is why I say there are so many ways to bond with a kid. And one of the ways we bonded is we would abbreviate. We would rename shows
So
that
we
we
like
watched.
True Blood, so we just called it Trube.
True,
And then there was
Being
Being
Human,
Human, which was
Be
Be You.
You,
But then he was pissed about Rome.
Rome. We
He's
just
like, that's not even a abbreviation.
yeah. So we used to watch the show Rome, and we
It was a
called
good
it
show.
Rome.
He was so
And my
pissed.
dad was so annoyed, and we cackled like ridiculously. Oh,
We bonded over annoying her dad.
weird bonding experience. I was going to get my license for the first time, and she was renewing her license at the same time.
Yeah.
So we bonded at the DMV over the fact that we both looked like we had mugshots for driver's license photos. And I'm pretty sure there's like a law against being that happy at the DMV because people looked really mad at us
Well,
when
we
laughed.
cackled.
We cackled
Like in
loudly.
unison. It was bad.
Yeah.
So, and then as adults, I mean, you still bond with your children. Obviously, I bond with her doing a podcast, writing a book, and all of that kind of stuff, but doing stuff with the kids. So, Paige, my husband and I just took her and two of her kids to like go on a little mini vacay for a couple days, and that was, that was a nice bonding experience.
Yeah, and we like after I had Henry, you came over like the day we got home
Who
cuz
called me in?
I
So,
I
just-
called her in. Yes.
I was tagged in. I didn't just show up.
I tagged her in, but I mean, she helped me get some stuff done. Like we, had a little bit of bonding, and then I got to take a nap. But
Yeah.
like those are the cool things. I feel like when you've done it right and your kids want to be around you, those are the things you get to do and you get to be a part of.
Yeah, because it was killing me not coming over, honestly. And my husband was like, I can't believe you haven't gone over there to see that baby yet. I mean, and we all went to see him in the hospital, but and I was like, I can't come over until I'm tagged in. Like you just can't. And it wasn't 5 minutes later, she called me crying. And she's like, Mom, are you busy? So I came over. So I get off the phone and he's like, you were tagged in? I'm like, yeah, I was tagged in like already. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm going.
It was actually my husband who wanted me to call her. I wasn't going to because I didn't want to be annoying. And
Yeah,
I
it's
also
not
didn't want
annoying.
him to be upset.
Right.
that-
I think that was more of it because
It was more of it. I didn't want him to feel like, oh, what you're doing isn't good enough and we can't handle this, so I'm calling my mommy. But he was like, I think you need to call your mom. So,
and so when you've bonded with your child, I mean, you'll know it by the time they're adults, but it's different too. Like Lauren and I talk a lot more than me and her sister talk, but it comes in waves with her. But she really wants to bond with me lately, and that'll go away for a while. So when she wants to bond with me, I will drop what I'm doing because it's not something she wants to do all the time. Not that I don't drop what I'm doing with, like Lauren and I are always on the phone anyway. Usually what I'm dropping is Lauren because we're already on the phone. But what?
Smokey's in the crib.
Well, she's happy. He's happy. Who cares?
Yeah, for now.
He's at her feet. He's fine.
So, another interesting thing to talk about, bonding with your children's spouses or significant others.
Yeah, that can be a little hard.
It can be weird. So, my husband met my parents in a hot tub at a hotel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he did. And then we
We-
went up to our hotel room.
yeah, we kind of got rid of a lot of that awkwardness right out the gate.
Right.
But I think it can be really awkward because it's awkward for the person coming into the family because they don't know any of these people. It's all new to them. They're trying to figure out how they fit in, I think. And it's awkward for the parent because you're trying to learn about this person that your child is presumably going to be with for a while. So,
The person, I'm not going to say, I can't say that on the show. I can't say what Dad says.
yeah. Took me a second.
Yeah.
So you and Andy have bonded over Cards Against Humanity.
Yes, my son is a big perv, or my son-in-law is a pervy perv, apparently.
He, yeah, there were things in Cards Against Humanity. She's like, "What's that?" And he's like pulling it up on his phone, going, "Here."
He has
And,
told me more sex stuff,
yeah.
and it's weird. So now, if there's some modern day thing about sex that I don't know the lingo, I just ask my son-in-law because I know he knows. I don't want to know how he knows, but he does.
Well, and like he like works on the cars with Dad, which
Yes,
um
I think they have an easier time bonding.
they do. I think it's just a I don't know a man thing maybe.
Yeah, he sometimes is awkward around me. Like I tried to hug him at Christmas or something, and he seemed like, "Oh Lord Jesus," I was like, "Okay, we're not there yet."
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like even just like back when you and Dad got married, it was the culture was a little different a lot around in-laws. Like you would refer to your in-laws as mom and dad.
Except Dad does not call grandma mom and dad.
No, he calls them Dan and Ellie.
I know.
Um, but I think that was more of the thing in the past, and so much recently it's not.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know, because like I don't call my in-laws mom, dad, whatever. Like I just
Really?
no,
No,
I
that's
call them John, Robin, Jennifer. You know,
wow. I think okay.
I don't know. I just that seems to be the trend. I don't know, but I don't even think Andy really calls him anything like that.
Andy does not call us mom and dad. He
No.
doesn't call me anything. He
Well,
doesn't even say Jennifer because he hates the name. He just like he just I might get a hey you. It's
yeah,
awkward for him, and
it's
I mean I don't care. Like honestly, I'm making fun right now. I actually don't care. My goal is not to make my son-in-law feel uncomfortable.
yeah. I, I think it's definitely something that's changed.
It's yeah, I think people feel really weird about it. About like they don't even know how to act.
Yeah, like Andy's grandparents. I will typically refer to them as like grandma or grandpa, or the other ones, Mimi and Mamps, but that's just because that's what everybody calls them. Um, but no, like his parents, I pretty much just called by their names.
Yeah, Dad does, but I call his parents mom and dad because I was raised right. I thought you
Apparently, I
were.
wasn't.
I thought you were.
No, apparently not. But I mean, I think bonding with in-laws is definitely something different. So,
It's
like,
it's awkward. I think it takes a long time for it not to be awkward. I think.
yeah. So, like, my husband has his mom and his stepmom. I've talked with his stepmom a ton, and her and I have quite a lot in common. Like, we have a great time when we hang out. We've had a lot of really good, like, heart-to-heart conversations, and mostly in the car. Um, and his mother, her and I don't talk as much, just because when we first got together, she lived really far away. So I actually didn't even meet her till after we were married. Um, but it's definitely different, and I think especially if you're somebody who's very like your personalities are very different, it can be hard to bond with your own kids when their personalities are different, let alone, people
It
who are
can be
essentially
hard to
strangers to you in the
bond
beginning.
with your own children when they're really the same
Yeah.
too. You know, it's just like bonding. It it's not. It doesn't always come naturally. I don't think. And then so you have to just look for those moments where you can find common ground and listen to each other and things like that. It doesn't always have to be a big thing. Just those little moments. I think that's what's important with bonding with anybody.
Yeah. And I
Really.
think when your kids want to bond, or if you have children in laws that want to bond, or mothers in laws who want to bond.
Well, that's the other thing too. So Paige's boyfriend has children,
Yeah.
and you know, I love the children, but as somebody who is come into their lives that I haven't always been in their lives, it's up to me to take their lead as far as dealing with each other. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to make a child feel uncomfortable, but you also don't want to make a child feel left out.
Right.
So that can be something that you just have to, as the adult, watch those cues that they're giving off.
And I mean, so like with Paige's boyfriend's kids, like I'm of the mindset like I kind of let them take the lead with it.
Right.
And I think that can be the same thing said for like if you have stepchildren.
Absolutely.
It's like don't try to force them into bonding with you or talking to you or calling you a certain name. Kind of let them take the lead. So like when we went and hung out with Paige and her boyfriend over the weekend and he had his kids with him, like his daughter ran up to hug me,
Right.
but I didn't, try to hug her. I let her take the lead and like I'm gonna hug her back. She's a kid, but
Oh, I mean, I'd love to hug her, and she does hug me now. But when they first started coming around, like she doesn't know me. I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, sweetie," and freak the kid out. Like, who the hell is this lady coming at me? But Aaliyah asked, so they pretty much live like sisters at this point. And Aaliyah said, "So can you be her grandma?" I'm like, I mean, if she wants me to be her grandma, of course, I sure, why
yeah,
not? Like, the more the merrier.
right,
But and then when we went on the family vacation, for those couple days that I talked about earlier, she said, "But she's not family." I said, "But she is family.
yeah,
I mean, you call her a sister," and she's like, "Oh, because she's like, yeah." So and that can be weird for kids too, because like my own granddaughter is trying to figure out where this all fits in familial wise, and to me, it's like, kids are kids. I take them all. I don't care. If you want to call me grandma, cool. If you don't, that's cool.
yeah. And like I was saying something about Henry hanging out with the girls, and I was just like, for a second, I kind of second guessed it, and then I was like, she's his cousin. Like they're cousins. It's fine, but it can be a little awkward when you're first blending families, especially
Yes.
in the early stages, to kind of figure out where things fit. So
Right. So I think as an adult, you again those little moments to bond with that child. Um, and it could just be as simple as, you know, they come in the house and you're like, hi, how are you? What have you been up to? Just so that they know that you are approachable, you are open to having that experience with them, because kids don't want to be rejected either.
well, and trying to learn things they like. Um,
Yes.
you don't necessarily have to ask them, but if you're making dinner, you could ask their parent, like, "Hey, what's their favorite food, or is there something they don't like?" I know Paige's boyfriend's son
He doesn't like
has
anything.
he has
He's
a lot of things
very
he doesn't
picky.
like. He
Very picky
apparently
eater.
loves sugar
Oh,
cookies.
does he? Okay.
So when we were having a picnic on Saturday, I asked Paige, like, what does he like? She said sugar cookies. So I made sure to pick up sugar cookies for when we went to have the picnic.
And of course, when you're blending families too, the other thing is, older children do not want to bond as quickly as smaller children do.
Yeah,
And that's okay.
yeah,
Give them their space, but let them know that you think they're special. Even if, like I said, it can just be the greeting that you give them, and the saying goodbye and things like that, so they know that you're open to having that relationship with them, but you let them set the tone for that.
and I think with any kid in your life, don't assume they're a bad kid.
Now,
Treat every kid like they're a good kid because they're not going to want to open up to you and be nice to you and bond and be a part of your family if you're acting like they're a problem child.
well, and here's the thing, just from working with children as long as I did, plus I'm a mom, there aren't really bad kids. There are kids that have challenges. Um, a lot of times kids act out because they feel like they're being judged, or they feel like they're going to be judged, so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying let a kid do whatever the heck they want. If there's consequences, there's consequences, but once those consequences are over, it's over. They're just a kid. They just need the same thing that everybody else does. They want to feel like they belong. They want to feel safe. You know, those kinds of things. It's the same things you want. They're just children. They're just learning, and they don't know how to express themselves like an adult. And let's be honest, a lot of adults don't know how to express themselves. So don't judge a kid as a bad kid or a problem.
Yeah, because I know the girls were telling me that the older brother is a butthead,
Yeah, well, he's an
And
older brother.
he's
so
an
it is
older
what it
brother.
is.
So, like, in their opinion, yeah, he's a butthead, but
Right, but he's not. He's a good kid.
he's a good kid. And that's because I said, he's a really good kid. No, he's not. He's a butt. I'm like, no, he is a good kid. Like, you guys don't think so because you're the little sisters.
Yeah, and
But,
older brothers are not. Well, and for Leah, she was an only child for so long, so she doesn't know what the whole sibling shit
right
looks
now,
like.
she's getting thrown in with siblings.
Right, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "Yeah, older brothers just do stuff like that. I don't know what to tell you, honey."
Yeah, but like with Henry, he's fantastic with Henry. He was helping him like learn how to shoot a basketball on Saturday. Like he's a good kid.
He's a good kid. He's just an older brother.
Right. So,
Yeah, and I don't have anything else on bonding. Do you?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Just try. Just never stop trying.
Never stop trying. Take the opportunities you can. And I think be present because kids notice that. They notice when you're there and you're, making time for them.
And just like for my grandmother, I was her favorite, and she said that, and whatever.
Yes,
She did. She, especially like when she got older, 'cause she just didn't care anymore. She'd be like, "My Jenny, she's my favorite," whatever. But I never. There wasn't one time ever in my entire life when I saw my grandmother and her eyes didn't light up, even for that split second. So, like I knew that I was the light of her world. And everybody needs somebody who feels that way about them,
Absolutely.
you know. So be that person for your kids,
Yeah.
Like,
All right.
that's all I got.
All right. Womp womp. Whoop.